All right, everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep today into Super Bowl LIX. The Eagles, they just soared to victory over the Chiefs.
The sword is right.
They crushed them.
40-22. Nobody saw this coming. And, we always love getting your input. And you guys sent us a CBS Sports article that breaks down all the action. So let's unpack this thing, biggest surprises, and really figure out what happened to the Chiefs.
Yeah, what happened? I mean, it was a shocker, right? Most experts were predicting a really close game. But the Eagles dominated. I mean, start to finish. Their defense was like a brick wall.
Or a brick wall.
They held the Chiefs to only 23 yards in the entire first half. Think about that.
23 yards.
The entire first half.
Is that even legal?
It is legal. And historically impressive.
Ugh.
I mean, you have to go all the way back to the '85 Bears to find a Super Bowl performance that was that defensively suffocating. Okay, so the Eagles' defense was on fire, but what about their offense? Did the Chiefs just completely forget that Jalen Hurts can run? I mean, the guy broke his own Super Bowl rushing record
Again,
for quarterbacks again.
it seems like they might have overlooked that part of his game.
Yeah.
Hurts' ability to run, it not only adds another dimension to the Eagles' offense, but it also forces defenses to play differently. You can't just focus on the pass rush when the quarterback can take off for a 20-yard gain, at any moment.
And here's the thing that blows my mind, okay? The Eagles ran the ball more than they passed the entire game and still won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's NFL, that is practically unheard of. I mean, the last time a team pulled that off was back in 1975.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a testament to their commitment to a balanced offensive attack and their trust in Jalen Hurts to make plays both through the air and on the ground. I mean, the Eagles basically said, we're going to run the ball down your throat and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And they were right.
Talk about a bold strategy.
Right.
But it clearly paid off. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, let's talk about the man of the hour. Super Bowl MVP. A near-perfect passing game, unstoppable on the ground.
Cool.
He was on fire. That 46-yard touchdown pass to Devonta Smith in the fourth quarter was just the icing on the cake.
For sure.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Hurts is only the fourth quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl after losing one in a previous attempt. He joins a very elite group that includes the likes of John Elway. And he's proven that he can learn from his mistakes, bounce back from adversity, and lead his team to the ultimate prize.
So the big question now is Jalen Hurts officially in the top tier of NFL quarterbacks? Because he's got a Super Bowl ring earlier in his career than guys like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean,
It's a fascinating question, and one that's sure to spark some debate. I mean, he certainly put himself in the conversation with this performance, but to be considered truly elite, he'll need to show that he can sustain this level of play over multiple seasons.
yeah, fair enough. It's a long road to the top and even harder to stay there. But for now, let's give Hurts his due. I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion, he's an MVP, and that's nothing to sneeze at.
Absolutely not. It's a remarkable achievement. But, on the other side of the field, the Chiefs' dreams of a three-peat were crushed in epic fashion. This wasn't just a loss. I mean, it was a complete dismantling.
It really was.
What went wrong for Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, where do we even begin? The Chiefs' offense, which is usually an unstoppable force, looked completely out of sync. Their offensive line was getting bullied all game long. Mahomes was sacked 6 times, and the Eagles didn't even blitz once.
Yeah, that's historically bad.
I know.
Yeah, their offensive line was definitely a weak point. The Eagles' defensive front, they dominated the line of scrimmage, generating consistent pressure and disrupting Mahomes' rhythm. And you're right, 6 sacks without blitzing is a testament to the Eagles' talent and scheme.
And Mahomes, who we're used to seeing make magic happen, had one of his worst games ever. Those interceptions were painful to watch, especially that pick 6 to Cooper DeJean. I mean, it felt like every time the Chiefs had a chance to get back in the game, they shot themselves in the foot.
And it's interesting you bring up DeJean because it raises questions about Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo and his history with mobile quarterbacks.
Sure.
This was the 3rd time that Hurts has posted a career high in yardage against a Spagnuolo defense.
Wow.
So there seems to be a pattern here.
So you're saying Spagnuolo might have a blind spot when it comes to defending quarterbacks who can run?
It's certainly something to consider. Perhaps his defensive schemes aren't as effective against quarterbacks who can extend plays with their legs.
Yeah, it's a puzzle worth exploring, especially given Spagnuolo's reputation as a defensive mastermind. But going back to the offensive side of the ball, let's not forget about Saquon Barkley. The guy quietly shattered a huge NFL record. Yeah. Saquon Barkley broke Terrell Davis's record for most rushing yards in a single season, including playoffs. He smashed Davis's record of 2,476 yards, which had stood since 1998. That's crazy.
I mean, that's a testament to Saquon Barkley's talent and the Giants' commitment to the run game. It proves that even in today's pass-heavy league, a dominant running back can still make history.
I'm starting to think this Super Bowl was a throwback game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if we're seeing a shift back towards a more balanced style of play in the NFL.
It's an intriguing question. The Eagles' success with a run-first approach could definitely inspire other teams to reevaluate their offensive strategies, but we'll have to wait and see how things play out next season.
Okay, back to Super Bowl LIX. You mentioned that the Eagles' defense held the Chiefs to only 23 yards in the first half. Just how historically good was that?
Well, that's the second lowest first-half total in Super Bowl history.
Wow.
The only team to hold an opponent to fewer yards in a Super Bowl half was, you guessed it, the 1985 Chicago Bears in Super Bowl XX.
The 85 Bears keep coming up.
Oh, I know, right?
Those guys were legendary. But getting back to this game, Cooper DeJean's pick six wasn't just a game changer. It was actually a rare feat in Super Bowl history.
Right. He's only the second rookie in Super Bowl history to snag a pick six. And guess who the first one was? Reggie Phillips for the 1985 Bears in Super Bowl XX.
Wow, they really were something else. But let's not forget about the offensive firepower the Eagles displayed. They put up a combined 95 points in the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game. That's the most any team has ever scored in those two games combined.
Yeah, it's clear that their offensive explosion wasn't a fluke, but going back to what we discussed earlier, it's their dedication to the run game that really fascinates me. It goes against the grain of today's NFL.
I hear you, and I bet their success gives hope to all the teams out there that don't have a superstar quarterback like Mahomes or Burrow. It proves you can win with a different formula.
Absolutely. It challenges the notion that you need a high-flying passing attack to win in today's NFL. The Eagles showed that a balanced offense, a strong defense, and a commitment to fundamentals can still get you to the top.
Speaking of getting to the top, this Super Bowl also put another nail in the coffin of the NFL's three-peat curse. The Chiefs became the 9th team to try for 3 in a row, and just like the others, they came up short.
It's a fascinating phenomenon. It seems like there's some kind of invisible barrier preventing teams from winning 3 consecutive Super Bowls. Maybe it's the pressure, the target on their backs, or just the sheer difficulty of staying on top for that long.
Or maybe it's just bad luck. Whatever it is, it's a testament to the parity and competitiveness of the NFL. Even the best teams can't stay on top forever.
Exactly. And speaking of statistical oddities, since the undefeated 2006 Indianapolis Colts won the Super Bowl, the last undefeated team standing in the regular season has gone 0-9 in the Super Bowl.
It's almost like having a perfect regular season sets you up for disappointment in the big game. It's mind-boggling. Any other standout stats from this game that caught your eye?
Oh, absolutely. We can't overlook Xavier Worthy's incredible performance.
Yeah.
He shattered 2 rookie receiving records in the Super Bowl with 157 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
That kid is the real deal. He put on a show.
He did, and he made history in the process. He's the first rookie in NFL history to put up those numbers in any playoff game, not just the Super Bowl.
Speaking of history, Jalen Hurts also etched his name in the record books. He set a new Super Bowl rushing record for a quarterback with 72 yards that's breaking his own record from last year's Super Bowl.
And what's remarkable about Hurts is how he's evolved as a quarterback. He's become a true dual-threat weapon capable of beating you with his arm or his legs. That makes him incredibly difficult to defend.
It's like trying to contain a wildcat out there.
Exactly. And that unpredictability is what makes him so dangerous. He's become the ultimate offensive weapon for the Eagles.
And speaking of offensive weapons, Devonta Smith joined a very exclusive club with this Super Bowl win. He's now one of only 4 players to have won a Super Bowl, a Heisman Trophy, and a college national championship.
Yeah, that puts him in elite company with legends like Charles Woodson, Marcus Allen, and Tony Dorsett. It's a testament to his exceptional talent and drive.
So all these individual accomplishments are amazing. But what does this Eagles victory tell us about the state of the NFL as a whole?
Well, it raises an important question about the league's evolution. The Eagles showed that you don't necessarily need a Patrick Mahomes-style quarterback to reach the pinnacle of the sport. They've demonstrated that there are multiple paths to success in the NFL, which is a refreshing reminder in a league that often seems fixated on offensive fireworks.
Yeah, it's like they're bucking the trend and proving that a strong defense and a commitment to the running game can still win championships. Maybe this will usher in a new era in the NFL where defense and the running game make a comeback.
That would certainly be a fascinating development. It would be interesting to see how the offensive masterminds of the league would adapt to a more defensive-minded approach.
Before we wrap up our deep dive into Super Bowl LIX, I wanted to touch on one last thing. Nick Sirianni's emotional post-game interview, where he pleaded for his offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, to stay in Philadelphia.
What did you make of that?
Yeah, it was a raw and genuine moment that you don't always see, you know?
Yeah.
It really highlighted the human side of the game. You could see how much Sirianni values Moore and his contributions to the team and how much he wants to keep that partnership going.
Absolutely.
It speaks to the strong bonds that are forged in the crucible of competition.
It was a reminder that behind all the X's and O's and the highlight reel plays, that this is a game built on relationships and shared goals.
Yeah, and it also underscores the collaborative nature of success in the NFL, right?
For sure.
It takes a village, as they say.
Hmm.
Well said. So as we put a bow on this Super Bowl deep dive, what's the biggest takeaway for you? What surprised you the most about this game?
I think what surprised me most was the Eagles' ability to completely shut down the Chiefs' high-powered offense. I mean, the Chiefs have been the gold standard in the NFL for the past few years, and to see them get dominated like that was truly unexpected. It just goes to show that even the best teams can be vulnerable.
Yeah, I totally agree. And for me, the biggest surprise was how the Eagles embraced a run-first philosophy in a league obsessed with passing. It's like they turned back the clock and showed that old-school football can still win championships.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Eagles' victory is a testament to the fact that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to success in the NFL. They've challenged the conventional wisdom and proven that you don't have to follow the trends to reach the top.
So as we look ahead to next season, the big question is, will other teams try to emulate the Eagles' blueprint for success? Will we see a resurgence of defense and the running game in the NFL? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. The Eagles have given us all something to think about.
They definitely have. They've shown that there's more than one way to win in this league. And that's what makes the NFL so unpredictable and exciting.
Well said. And that's a wrap on our Super Bowl LIX deep dive. We hope you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share your thoughts on the game and let us know where you think Aaron Rodgers will end up next season. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.